let's say you're going from that to that. Now look at this example. Everything is minim except the tenor voice. So minim counts for 2 beats. But what I've done here for the tenor, because this note also belongs to chord 4. So just to make sure we're on the same page, C, E, G, right? This is my chord 1 in C major. I'm going to chord 4, which is F, A, C, right? There's my F, there's my F, there's my A, and here I don't have anything. But because I made it semi-brief, it carries over into this point. So it helps you make things nice and seamless. You don't have to have minim and another minim. So just to make your work clear, you can do this like a shortcut, then just have 3 voices. But you saying that, no, this carries on there automatically. So you can do that. Or you can just say C and C. That's also fine. So you can do that. Try your best to do that. And then also, if you look at the voice leading, I know this is, where is this now? Oh, this is still. Look at the voice leading. It's coming from E, step up by 1 to F. G, step up by 1 to A. This is going right through, no movement. It's only the bass that jumps up. The bass is allowed to leave. So also make sure that your voice leading is stepwise. Try your best to make it smooth and stepwise. And you can also do that if there's a common note from one chord to the other. And if you notice, every chord must have a third. See, E, never leave out E. Never leave out the third of any chord. Because for example, if I don't have an E here and I have an F, then all of a sudden I have F, G, C, C. What chord is that? You don't even know. So make sure you have the third of the root and the third must always be there of any chord. Same thing here, you are F major. There's A, F. There's my 5th, C. Okay. Just checking if I missed anything. Yes, you are allowed to double the 5th. You are allowed to triple the root as well. I did mention this before, so I'm repeating it. So you're allowed to do that as well. Any questions? No questions. Okay, so for those who walked in, please know that there's a test coming up, and worksheet 3 is due next week, Wednesday. Okay. Then also, to those who walked in, please collect this 2 of each page. I'm going to try and do this now. Okay, so we're going to try and attempt on this page here, and you as well, with your pencil, to do this. So So try your best to also like actively do it because you never know, it might pop up in the exam. Just saying. So let's try our best to complete this while I'm still here. So take 2 and then that's it.
Just two.
Yeah, just 2.
Oh yeah.
So they give you the soprano line. Right. So the question is, complete 4-part harmony on the following extract. The soprano line has been provided for you. Please fill in tenor, alto, and bass accordingly. So when you're facing this question in the test, which you will, step 1, what do you do? Yes.
Check key signature.
Key signature, correct. Then what is the signature? What is the key signature?
G.
G. Yes. Then what do you do, sir? Where can I show that I'm in G? How do I show that I'm in G major? So where do I show that I'm in G major in this? Not sure.
One sharp.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, you have 1 sharp. That's indicative of G major, correct? Now I want to show as you're answering, right? You need to show that I am in G major. How do you show it? By writing something on this page. Mhm. Okay, I'm not asking what is indicative from this music that tells you it's in G major. I'm asking, how do you show me that you're saying it's in G major? You write the G. Yes. So you write the G to show me that you know you're in G major. Very important. You can't not have this. Otherwise, I don't know what key you're in. Or I'm not sure whether you know that you know the key. So you need to tell me that there's my G. I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing. Here's the G. I'm in G major. And you don't have to do it here as well. Just have to do it there, and that's it. I know in the beginning, there's G. Okay, so he knows it's in G major. Now, we find reasons as you explored. What is indicative that it's G major? It's the G there in the beginning and the G at the end, as well as the 1 sharp there. So always check those things. If you want to find out why, or check yourself why you say it's G, key signature, starting and ending note will tell you that you're in G, or confirm that you're in G major. Okay. What is indicative that it could be a minor? What do you think are the indications that you would see if it says it's a minor?
Key signatures.
Okay.
Accidentals.
Yeah.
On the
What accidental?
any accidental that isn't in the key.
Uh-huh.
The given key.
Very close. You are correct, but like I need like a firm answer. Yes.
The last note would be raised.
The last note.
Yeah, the last note on the scale.
What is the last note of the scale?
It's it's F. Is it not?
Yes.
The right seven.
The ray seventh. So in a minor, if something is telling me, or is like indicating that no man, yes, it's G, but what would counter that argument would be the ray seventh of the relative minor. So yes, this is correct, G major, right? But if you try to check this now and you see a sharp somewhere, I'm looking for a D. If let's say there's a D somewhere and there's a D sharp in this music, it's not here now, but let's say there was a D sharp somewhere, anywhere here, then you'll be like, okay, why is there another sharp? Then you find the relative minor of G. And how you do that is 3 steps, semitones back. So G, F sharp, F, E. So E minor, then you go E, F, G, A, B, C, D is the 7th. That's the 7th of E minor. So hey, there's a D sharp there. Okay, this must be in E minor, for example. Okay, so yes, you're correct in G major. It starts with G, but if you happen to see a raised 7th anywhere else, that will tell you no, it's actually a minor. So just also check that as well. Okay, so step 1 is done. Key, and you've showed me that you know the key. Step 2, we harmonize. Let's start. Okay, I have there G and F sharp. So G and F sharp. Now, what you need to know for the process that you do to answer the questions is, what chords do I find these notes in? G can be in chord 1 because G, B, D, right? Or you find another one, 6th, right? E, G, B. Or actually you can do this if you really need to be safe. You can write out all the chords, G, B, D, F sharp, A, C. What am I doing? It's A, C, E. A, C, E. B, D, F sharp. C, E, G. D, F sharp, A. E, G, B. F sharp, A, C. And then you go back to G. So this is chord 1. It's G, B, D. This is if you're not so well informed with your keys and your triads. I would advise you to do this maybe on the side, to write out each and every note on each chord. In chord 1, G, B, D, you just skip 1. Chord 2, it's A, C, E. You just need to know that it's a minor. Try it. So small 2. The next one is BDF. It's also minor. BDF. Chord 4 is major. Chord 5 is always major. Chord 6 is minor. Chord 7 is diminished. And you go back to 1. So to be safe, let's say you're searching now for where G exists in the chords. There's my G. I want to find out what options do I have here. You look for G here. G is there in chord 1, so I can use chord 1. G is also here. There's G in chord 4, so I can use chord 4. G is 6. I can use chord 6 to be safe. But to start the song, I would prefer to start with chord 1. Please start with chord 1 always, and end on chord 1 always, unless they tell you the cadence must be something else. So this is definitely chord 1. So I then do this 1, capital letters. Then I take these notes, I punch them in there. Okay, G is already there, so I know I'm going to double the G here. Most importantly, please know where the stems go. If that is wrong, the whole thing is wrong. So please, stems goes down opposite, and then inside they face each other. So G and G sorted. Now what am I left with? B and D. Okay. So I'll put my D. Let's see what I can do here. I do want to put it here. D here. I can put my B here and my D here. Remember, this is negotiation. You can change around things. Okay. So I can put my B here. Why is this allowed? Isn't this too much or too far? It's a distance of a 10th, as I said. So please know that. You can't go higher than that. Here's my D. I'm happy with this. That's your first answer. You see. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask. So I'm going to do this in class. Pick up what I'm doing, because the rest is going to be homework. Just saying, just a heads up. Okay, moving on. This is F sharp. Now you ask yourself again, F sharp, where does F sharp exist? 3, 5, 7. So those are my options for the chord. You see how easy it is now? 3, 5, or 7. So I'm coming from 1. I can choose 5. I can choose. I want to choose 5. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to choose chord 5. So chord 5 starts with D, F sharp, A. The third is already there. I can't use it again. Don't double the third. That's a rule. Don't double the third. Don't omit the third. Okay, so D starts with 5 starts with D, so I can jump here, down. D, F sharp, A, and then D. So I have my F sharp. I can put my A here. Right? So I have D, F sharp, A. I just need another D now. I can put my D there. But check this out. This is what I said. There's D. I can make this a minim. And then you can assume. So I'll remove this and make it a minim. Just to be fancy. Then you know that there is a D there. D, D, F sharp, A. No issues. Soprano goes down by 1. Alto stays the same. Tenor goes down. Bass goes up. Now please note, consecutive fifths or parallel fifths don't only exist between adjacent voices. They can also exist when there's a voice in between. So when you have a soprano here, alto, tenor, you can still move parallel in soprano and tenor. So watch that as well, but I won't mark it wrong. For now, just don't do adjacent voices up, down like this. But also be careful, soprano or so for example, this voice and this voice can also have consecutives. That's also not allowed. So not only here where it moves fifths or octaves, it's also there. Bass and alto as well. Watch out for that. But as I said, I'll accept it. Who's confused? No one's confused. Yes.
Is there rules as a time since I forgot?
Indoni?
Is there rules? Whereby Pacific we line yesithathu siyadecide uba siyayihlisa into okanye siyayinyusa na. Then uphezulu kunyanzeleke ukuyihlisile.
Le?
Is there rules? Yeah.
Stem. Do you mean these things now? As lines?
Sharp.
Yeah, so when you're doing bass, yasha, always stem. All the time. Bass. Then the next one goes up. Tenor and yuga. Alto down. Soprano up. Nah? If you've done it in your worksheet too bad, it's immediately wrong. Just know. I've seen some. Just saying. Right. It's always like this. Down, up, down, up. I did say that. I did mention. Okay, so I'm happy with that leading, that voice leading. Moving on. Now I have G, A. For some reason now it is G, A. It is a quaver, B. When you see this now, treat this as one. Treat that as one, if you see that. You can also harmonize it if you want to, it's fine. You can say, I'm going to harmonize this quaver, I'm going to harmonize this A, I'm going to harmonize this one. But to be safe, you can harmonize this G here. This can be a passing note. PN. Passing note. Non-chordal passing note. I'll just say NC, PN. Very important because you need to also add those things later on. Non-passing, non-chordal, NC, NC, PN. Or just note this down. I'm going to rub it off now, but just note this down. This is a non-chordal passing note. After you're done with everything, if you see there's a distance of a third from here to here or somewhere where you've done the work, I encourage you to also add passing notes just to show some sophistication. This in itself, this here, minim, is sophistication. It just ups your marks. If you see then, let's say this B here was going to G, I would ask you please add an A here in between and put a quaver. You see, so that you can say, tenors are going smoothly down. I'm not going to count that part of the chord because it's non-chordal passing note. You see what I mean? So you can just add that spice and yana there to just flow into the next one. But after you're done, when you check, is there any thirds? Oh, there's a third. Okay, let me add one in between, make it a quaver. So just to spice up the marks, you can do that because you can see it here. It's been done. We're treating this as chord G, even though there's an A, but this is a non-chordal passing note. That's why. I'm gonna remove this. So it is 1, 5, back to 1. I would prefer going back to 1. But as I said, 1 can resolve to other stuff as well, like to 6. But this is not a cadence. Don't just put a cadence anywhere. You always put a cadence maybe in a phrase, the end of a phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of this is a phrase in itself. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another phrase. So it would be nice to have a cadence here. That's why they end with this and then have a cadence here. Right, so don't put a cadence in the middle. So I'm going to go back to 1 because I see G there. G, D, G. Down. G and G is I can do the exact same thing as this, provided that there's nothing that's fits or whatever, but I can do exactly the same thing. There's my D, G, B, D. I just need now my B. There's my B. G, B, D, G. Checking my voice can go up, it's fine. D to D still the same. A to B, D to G. No issues. I'm happy with that. Then you indicate that it's chord 1. Moving on. Now I have B. You check, where does B exist in my chords? 1. Can still use 1. I can use 3, but please don't use 3. Just don't. And then there's chord 6 as well. I personally like going from 1 to 6. I don't see myself repeating 1 again. But you can just write minims on all of these. You can just say minim, minim, minim. Then I will know that the whole chord is chord 1. And then non-passing chord landing on the note that's still part of G. So you can write minim, minim and say this whole thing is chord 1. That's fine. Or I want to do chord 6 because there's B there, E, G, B. Okay, so you have options. So let's go with chord 6 and see what happens. Who's confused? If you're confused, please say something. No one. Okay. Chord 6, E, G, B. Okay, so I'll take my bass here. It's a big jump. E. E. I need G. Okay, I can take G down there. E, G, B. I repeat my root. E. E, G, B, E. And I just check what's going on in terms of voice leading. D to E, that's fine. B to G, that's fine, no issues. G to E, that's fine. Now check this out. I'm seeing a third here. There's G, there's B, going to G. That's a third. So I can add something here just to spice things up. Then I add an A. And I do this. Now this will be my non-chordal passing note there. Just like they did it there. You can also do it. This is a perfect example because B to G is a third. I'm just adding 1 just to make the tenors flow nicely and land on the note that they need to land on. This is fine. No issues, no consecutive. Everything is good. Moving on. Next notes. I have A and I have G. G and F sharp. Now this is where things are important. I definitely need a cadence here. Definitely need a cadence here. Now I need to plan my chord choices in such a way that I land on a type of cadence here. So I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to find out options that I can have based on these notes. G going to F sharp. So if I have F sharp at the end, I know I'm not resolving on chord 1 here because chord 1 is GBD. I know I'm not resolving in chord 1 here. Definitely not. Because F sharp does not exist in chord 1. I can't use it. So I know it can't be what type of cadence? What cadence lands on chord 1?
There you go.
So what cadence lands on chord 1? I did teach it last week, that's Wednesday. There are 4 types of cadences. Yes, sir. You were doing this. Let's just find it in our notes. I'll give you some time. It's the most important chord ever.
Perfect cadence.
Perfect cadence, yes. Perfect cadence. But now, which one? There's 2 types. Remember that as well. Authentic and perfect authentic. Okay, so I know it can't be that. So now I'm left with 3. Can you find there which one lands on 5?
And
No, it's not imperfect. That's high school.
Half.
Yes. No.
interrupted cadence.
No.
It's half cadence.
Did you not write the notes down? And I clearly explained it nicely there. I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I put it down there nicely in colors, in ink. There's 4 types of cadences that we did last week Wednesday.
Consecutive.
What's sorry, sir?
Consecutive.
Consecutive. The guys. Yo. I did teach it last week Wednesday. I remember very well. The answer is half cadence, but I'm more worried that people are saying wrong answers. There's only so much I can do. Just saying. Okay. And you need to take notes as well. If you don't take notes, then okay, moving on. So, as I said, I have G and F sharp notes. I'm planning a cadence there. I know that F sharp doesn't belong to chord 1. So I can't use a resolution that goes into 1. So perfect authentic cadence or perfect cadence is out of the way. I'm not going to use the first one. Perfect cadence, out of the way. Then I have 3 options. Interrupted, plagal, or half cadence. Those are the other 3. Interrupted ends with what? Chord number what? 6. I can't use it because 6 has EGB. Okay, so that's also out. Now you're left with 2. You're left with plagal, half cadence. Plagal ends with what? With 1. So I can't use 1. So obviously now it's half cadence. Please don't say imperfect cadence. It's half. Sorry.
If you say it won't be wrong, because I think it is imperfect, won't be wrong.
I can accept it, but please don't. Yeah, half cadence. HC. Who's confused? Who's like, who cares? I'm just here for vibes. Okay, so remember you're doing this to ensure that you land on the right cadence. So you know now, okay, I know I need to be there, and my journey needs to lead on a half cadence. So write the chords there already. So you're landing on chord 5. I know this is not that neat. So you're landing on chord 5, but I know you have the notes, so I'm gonna rub this off. So you're landing on chord 5. Now, with your half cadence, the nice thing about it, it says, or I have written notes that say that it leads, it comes from any chord as long as it lands on chord 1. I remember on the notes on the board I said X leads to 5. So you can use any chord here, but as long as you land on 5, it'll be a half cadence. Now I remember now why you can't use imperfect cadence is because, can you just tap her? The reason why I can't use imperfect cadence, imperfect is 1/5. Half cadence is any. Yes. I just remembered now. How you show a cadence, you draw this. Whatever chord you use here, let's say you're coming from 1. You draw a bracket like this. Right? And then at the bottom you say HC. So a neater version, I'm going to draw it here. So let's say you're coming from 1, going to 5. You draw a bracket like this. You indicate that it's a half cadence. Below these, you write it like this. Try and make it neater. G. So, landing on 5. Let's say I'm coming from 1. You do that, dash, bracket underneath. You indicate the type of cadence you're using, like that. So that's how you show your cadence. Right, moving on. So there's A here. Let's see what I can use. So if I'm going from chord 6 to a chord that has A, I know that 6 can go. Remember that diagram I showed you where the chords go to? 6 can go to 4. C, E, G. Can go to where else? Someone said it. Can go to 5. Here's chord 5. But I can't. Can I use 5 here? 4, 5, 1, 5. That's also fine. I can also go to. What about chord 2? Can go to chord 2 as well. Here's my A. So I have 2, I have 5, I have 7. I would say if I use 2, I can't really go to 1. 2, 1 is not really a good progression. If I come from 5, I can do 1 and then 5, that's fine. If I do 7 and then do 1, 5, that's also fine, because 7 is the same as 5. I did also say the 7 and 5, literally the same thing. So it's either 5 or 7 here. Who's confused? No one. Good. Okay. So I can either use chord 5 or chord 7 here. Go to chord 1. Go to chord 5. Let's just use 7 just to be unique and see how it goes. So 7 is F sharp A C. Now, this is where the knowledge comes in. This is where you guys need to. I said chord 7 and chord 2 must almost always be in first inversion. So if you use chord 7 or chord 2, make sure you use it in second inversion. Now, chord 2 and chord 7, are they primary or secondary chords? Secondary chord. Now, if you're using, stay with me, a secondary chord in first inversion, what must you double? You double the third. I did say this. Secondary chord in first inversion, you double the third. Okay. So let's use chord 7. VII, it is always diminished. And let's see. So F sharp, 6, 3. That is telling me it's first inversion. F sharp A C. So I'm starting on the third, which is A. Right. So I'm gonna take my A here, down. Now guess what? There's A here, there's A there. It's already doubled. So I'm chilling. Can use now F sharp and C. So 7, 6, 4, 6, 3, first inversion. There's my A, there's my A. If I look at my triads here, F sharp, A, C. I started with the third. That's why there's an A there in the bass. First inversion, you start with the third. A and A. Now you need F sharp and C. Let's see where we put those now. So I have E here. I can take this E to C. If I take this to F, that's also fine. But I can't take this to C because I'm crossing the bass there. So I can't take this to C. I can also take it to that C. And then I take this to F. That also works. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to take E to F sharp. And then G to C. Now I check. This distance I'm worried. A, still a 10th. Still works. You see. Octave, there's my 10th. Still works, still fine. I don't see any issues there. Thoughts? Questions? No questions? Okay, so please remember this. Secondary triads. First inversion, double the third. Right, next one, chord 1. A will go to G because it's chord 1 now, GBD. Right, there's my G. In root, G. G and G is already doubled. Happy with that. Now I need B and D. I can take, if I take this C to B, it will move together down like this, but it's not moving in octaves, nor is it moving in fifths. This is a distance of a 10th. It's still fine. So if I shift this, so this is C, AC, GB. It's still fine because it's a 10th. Let's see what other options I have. If I put my B, if I take this to B here, it's gonna cross this C. So I can't do this. This is middle C. If I take this below middle C to B, it's crossing this C. So I can't use then B here. Okay. GG. I must have a B. The only option is to do this. So I'll put a B here. G, B, G. I'll put my D here. Then I have G, B, D, G. Then I check, is there any issues? No issues there. No issues. This is acceptable because it's tenths. Then I have 7, 1. Then I land on chord 5 as my half cadence. Okay, still blue. Chord 5 is D, F sharp, A. Cadence is never in any inversion. When you're doing cadences, never do cadences or land on cadences in inversions. So don't put inversions in here. Don't mess around with that yet. There's other stuff where we'll do cadences later on. Cadential 6/4s and all that stuff. So G, I'll take it to D. Please make it a minimum because now you're resolving. So don't still continue with the music. Keep it that because you're resolving 2 beats. D, F sharp. I'll have my A here. Here's my A. D. I'll double the D there. D, D, F sharp, A. Then I check, is there any problems? This is 4, 3. This is B, D. That's fine. That is fine as well. Boom. That's the first part. I'm not going to do this one now. Then after you're done, let's check out there any thirds now that I can spice around. Okay, there's a step there, no thirds. Fine, there was a third here, and I added this. Okay, you go up one, no third, down, down. There's a third here, F and D. I can add maybe an E here, F, E, D, to make it nice and smooth. I add an E here, just to spice up the knocks. Okay, that's fine, fine, fine. And then you're done. This is definitely full marks. Then let me check the rubric here. Chord progression is fine. And how I check that is that diagram that I showed you, the movements, the possible options that I did last week. Chord progression, 12 marks. Correctness. Are your stems correct? Are you adding the right beats? Are your beats making sense? Is it neat? All those things. Doubling, spacing, voice leading, rules in the second points, 14 marks. General impression, using non-harmonic notes. See, it's already there. Non-chordal passing notes there. Non-harmonic, non-chordal. See, it's the first thing there in the last point, general impression. Musicality, innovation. Okay. Musicality is your chord selection. Are you using the right chords? Or it's very difficult to judge musicality, but I'm not going to be too strict on that. But does the voice leading make sense? Or if you just do all of this and it makes sense, and you follow these steps, you should get high marks. You should definitely get high marks, no doubt. Total marks 40. Yeah.
For only that or for all of them?
No, and this as
Okay.
well. But I haven't done the next line. Yeah. Are there any questions? So literally in an exam, I can just give you this, or two of these, and it's already 80 marks. You see, for example, that's like an exam now. It happens. The first one, they will give you a 4-part harmony, and you must analyze those chords. So you're working the other way around. For example, there's none of this here. There's all of this here. And then you must check the notes and identify what chord it is and the inversion. Then you answer here. That's the first part they'll give you. The second part is doing what we just did. So I'm going to repeat it. In definitely your exam, they'll cut out all of this stuff here, but all of this will be present. You must identify that, okay, it's in G major, you write the G. Then you must also say, okay, G, D, B, D, okay, where does it fall in? Boom, 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 and you write chord 1. So you're doing it the other way around. So there will definitely be that. That's called analysis. You're analyzing the music. The second part, you're doing 4-part harmony, which is what we did. So there will definitely be those 2 questions in your exam, but not the test that I'm doing. I could do either or. But the worksheet, you did it as well in the worksheet, if you remember. I think it was the 5th question or 4th question, where I will give you a bar and note, and then you have to say, oh, it's in G major, it's chord 1. Oh, it's in C major, it's chord whatever. I think it was question 3. Yeah. This is analysis. So you'd have this. Then you need to tell me what is this. There's the key. It belongs there. So that's the first component, is analyzing the music. The next part is doing the music. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Can we maybe complete? What's the time? It's about 20 minutes. There's about 20 minutes. Can we just complete this on your own and then I'll check it? Class ends at 3. So can we try the bottom one ourselves? And then I'll just walk around and check everyone. if you yourself are unwilling, then it's your problem. Just know that. Makes